Live from the Average Joe Nation studios in St. Clair, Missouri. This is the Average Joe Podcast, a show that proves that in this crazy world, a combination of common sense and a C-plus average is actually a superpower. Sure, he's crazy, but what if he's right? Please welcome your host, Damon Gilbert.
All right, here we are. I still been fighting my GarageBand app, right? Trying to make these podcasts. I swear I haven't. And I'm not. It's not like I'm, technologically illiterate. I kind of know how to do this stuff, but man, it just seems like it turns on you every chance it gets. Had an update last night. It wouldn't update because GarageBand was still open. Oh my God, we wouldn't want to update. Well, it's like, really? So then I got to sit here for 20 minutes waiting for it to update, and then it's got to restart. You know how it works. It's ridiculous. So anyway, enough about that because you really don't care, and I don't blame you. We're going to talk today about a little bit more about Joe Biden. And before I start, because everybody's going, oh, geez, he's going to hammer on this guy again. That's true. I probably am at the end of the day, but here's the problem. I want Joe to do good. I really do. I would like for him to do good because if he does good, I do good, my family does good, the world does good, at least the country, right? But that's impossible for this guy, apparently. And I mean, I'm always pulling for him. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like their thought process or their belief system. I don't like any of that. And It's not that I hate them. I really don't. But apparently they hate us. Anyone that's a free thinker, somebody that uses common sense, the left hates us because you're not supposed to do that. Okay? You're not supposed to think with your head. You're supposed to listen to us. The only opinion you need is the one we have. That's it. That's the way they look at it. Problem is, Joe, he's so old. Oh my God. To defend this guy at this point, I don't know what you would do. But what I really want to get into, but I just wanted to say that up front because I really don't want him to fail. Because that's similar to wishing the plane crashes because that you're riding in a plane, you hate the pilot, so you want the plane to go down so that he'll die. That makes no sense because we're all going down. Okay, we're all going down, and I don't want that. I would like for things to turn around. But I don't think it's going to happen too quickly, not with this kind of incompetence in the White House. And his legacy, that's the thing. If he had just stayed a vice president and just kind of faded off into the sunset, no one would have cared about any of this, okay? His son, no one would have cared about. Hunter, nobody would have known about it. No one would have known about how corrupt this guy was. He could have just sailed off into the sunset and no one would have cared. But instead, he wants to be president. And why they picked this guy, I don't know. Soros thought it was a good idea, I guess. I don't know why he thought it was. That was a huge mistake. But Joe Biden's legacy now is going to be about total abandonment and total incompetence. Because if you look at this, what's going on right now in Ukraine, obviously Russia has invaded and they're pushing towards Kiev. I think that's their ultimate goal, is to replace the government there and turn it back into a satellite of of Russia, basically what it was under the Soviet Union. I think that's exactly what he's got planned now. Now that you look at it, and now that I'm reading all the facts, all the things are coming out, that's exactly what he's planning on doing, I think. I didn't think he was going to invade first. I didn't think he had the balls to do it. But then as more information comes to light, you find out they set him up for this. Joe Biden handed him this, okay? Because if you look at what happened in Afghanistan, that total debacle, total mess. Now, Joe will tell you it was one of the biggest accomplishments of his career. Okay, yeah, it was a total mess. They knew it was coming. They got everything wrong. And what did we do? We left hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans stranded in Afghanistan. Probably fighting for their lives, to the point where you have nonprofits during that debacle flying over there trying to get these people out people from the United States, nonprofit organizations with ex-military guys trying to figure out how they're going to get these people out. We left billions of dollars worth of equipment over there, turned tail and ran, okay? Now, if you're Putin and you're this evildoer that they keep saying he is, and you're looking at this, does this inspire confidence? Do you say to yourself, hey, this guy is not to be trifled with, he's got his act together? No, it doesn't. What it shows is that you're going up against somebody that has absolutely no clue what he's doing, okay? So as far as I'm concerned, originally, I tell you what gave him a whiff of this is when they took the sanctions off Nord Stream, okay? The pipeline that's going from Russia to Germany. When they lifted those sanctions, the ones that Trump had in place, when he did that, and he canceled the pipeline in the United States, Keystone. When he canceled Keystone, I mean, the minute he got into office, the minute after the inauguration, first thing he did was cancel Keystone. That was what was keeping us energy independent. Now, you want to know who we're energy dependent on now? Russia. Okay? Not only are we dependent on that, but guess who we buy our engines from for our rockets to go to the space station or whatever you want to call it? That's Russia. We catch rides with them. I mean, SpaceX has taken up some of that slack, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're kind of dependent on Russia. We have been for quite some time, and now we're at the point now where we're getting a lot of our oil and natural gas from them. So you can't really stop that without hurting yourself, and Putin knew that. When that Nord Stream, when he lifted the sanctions, I'm sure Putin went, well, this guy's a wuss. He's not going to take me on. He's scared to death of us. So I believe planning for the invasion of Ukraine started at that point, okay? And people say, oh, Putin wanted Trump in office because they worked together. No. Trump put sanctions on Nord Stream. He wanted that stopped. He wanted to use that as a bargaining chip down the road. See, the difference between Trump and Biden is the kind of guy, he's playing jacks, okay? Trump's playing chess. Biden's not even playing checkers because that's still strategy involved there. Jacks are a little bit different. That's immediate, okay? Joe, he's a reactionist. He's not he's not proactive at all. This guy, I don't know who he's got working for him. These people are buffoons. They should have seen this coming. You've got a CIA out there, okay? You've got intelligence organizations that we don't even know exist that are giving you information. And this is what you came up with? Come on, Joe. Really? This is what you came up with? So you're gonna look me right in the eye when you're taking questions after. Now, mind you, this is 2 days after the invasion, supposedly. 2 days later. This is yesterday. This is on Thursday. He finally took questions and addressed the nation. Well, I tell you what, folks, I'd hate to see if it was a real emergency, what this guy'd do. Was he going to take the day off and then go to Delaware and come back and say, they'll wait for me? I mean, it's ridiculous. He's one of the worst I've ever seen at this. He's reactionary. There was no planning in this. None. They thought he was going to come in for, what did they say? If it's a skirmish on the border, we're not going to do anything. Well, I got news for you. He's going to walk into Kiev, and we're still not going to do anything. Because if you're not going to cut off his oil and gas production and put the hurts to him, you're wasting your time. I mean, it would be similar to someone, if you wanted to hurt a person individually, financially, okay, what are you going to do? Take his Venmo account away from him? And leave him with his job, his checking account, his savings account? No, you're not going to hurt him. Yeah, that's what you're doing in essence to Russia. You're taking away his Venmo account. Whoops, that's really going to hurt. And they as much as admitted it. I mean, Joe admitted that this isn't going to change the fact that he invaded. It's not going to affect him. No, because we can't disrupt the flow of oil to the rest of the world. because if we do, we're going to destroy our own economies. Okay, Putin's got us right where he wants us. I swear to God, if he wants to go further and go into Poland and the rest of Europe, I don't know what we're going to do about it. I really don't. I don't know that we can do it, because I tell you what, America is at the point now where they don't like for us to be involved in foreign affairs for the most part. Most people are not happy with his handling of this deal. I think it's 25%. That's horrible. That right there. That is similar to what Carter had on that failed hostage excursion. I can't remember what the name of it was. Remember when all the helicopters went down and all that? Yeah. That destroyed his presidency, Carter's. And I fully believe that this is destroying what is left of the Joe Biden administration. There's no coming back from this. If you're going to let a bully walk all over you, nobody's going to believe you from this day forward on anything you say. Anything. Now he's said that he will unilaterally, or what did he say? He's saying that he will not use soldiers. U.S. forces will not be used in Ukraine. Well, that may be true. I mean, you may believe that now, but tomorrow you may decide that we're going to. See, that's the way Joe does business. He'll tell you what you want to hear. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, he's going to do what needs to be done. And that may be putting U.S. forces in harm's way in a place that most people couldn't pick out on a map, on a world map, okay? We don't need to be here. This is not any of our business. It really isn't. Once they invaded, we're done. This is Europe's problem. Why do we have forces there in the first place? Why not? Why doesn't Germany have forces there? Why doesn't England have forces there? Why doesn't Italy? Go down the list. Everybody in Europe should have forces there pushing back against this guy. You want to know why they can't? Because here's what Russia is ultimately. At the end of the day, okay, you got China is the banker. They got all the money. They've got investment from all over the world. The United States doesn't want to mess with China because we've got trillions invested there, okay? So they're the banker. Russia is the bully. They're the enforcer, okay? And they are basically a gas station with an army. That's it. They've got an economy the size of Italy. They're not even in the top 10 worldwide, okay? They're not even there. They're small potatoes, okay, when it comes to the economies. But the one thing they do have is energy. And they're going to use it against everybody. That's where the United States should be. That's where the United States was when Trump was in office. Okay? When you cancel these federal leases so that you can drill on federal land, and you close pipelines, and you attack the energy sector immediately as soon as you're inaugurated, you're trying to destroy America is what you're trying to do. You may not mean to be doing it, but that's what you're doing. All for the sake of the environmentalists and the left-leaning loonies, okay? Because they don't want, oh my gosh, we can't have a coal-fired plant here in the United States. Send that thing over to, down to South Africa or something. Do that. Put it in Africa somewhere. Yeah, because the atmosphere there is different than it is here. That is such a stupid way to look at things. And as far as renewable energy, you can forget that. That's not going to happen. You can't do that. Right now, we are a petroleum-based economy. It's the world economy, and Russia's got us by the short hairs. That is the long and short of it, folks. And we got a buffoon in the White House. We really do. This is not going to get any better. I don't know where this is going to end. I guarantee you Putin's sitting there going, we could go further if we want to, because we've got China backing us. That's the money. That's the money, man. Okay? Russia is like the Luca Brasi in Godfather, the hit guy, the one that went out and did the dirty work. That's who Russia is. So it's exactly what they are. Yeah. They'll go out and take on, and then on top of everything else, you've got Taiwan. Okay? China wants Taiwan. China thinks Taiwan is theirs anyway. What happens if they invade there? What if China looks at this and goes, Joe's an idiot. Joe's a cream puff. The United States is weak right now. Now's the time to strike. Makes sense to me. What, are you going to wait until they're up and running again? Maybe they got Trump in charge again? No, you're going to do it now. Yeah. And if you think Joe Biden's going to be able to figure that one out, no, he's not going to. So Joe Biden's legacy is going to be one of total abandonment and total incompetence. 100%. There's no getting around it. And hopefully we'll all survive despite it. And I don't know. It's taken a brutal toll on American credibility. I'll say that. It really has. At one time, we were the world leader and just darn near everything. Now we're a butt of a joke. I mean, you think you're going to get people out there when we really need them to trust us anymore? No, because you'll turn your back on the first sign of adversity. The United States turns tail and run. You can't do that. You can't do that and expect people to respect you. It just doesn't work that way. You know, you can't respect someone who kisses your ass, and that's exactly what has happened. When you go to China and beg them to talk Russia out of invading Ukraine, you're making an ass out of yourself. And what's China do? They take that information, give it to Russia. Of course they do. They're buddies. That's exactly what happened. And the information they gave to Putin was like, well, these people aren't prepared for this at all. They have no idea what they're doing. They're weak. Now's the time to strike. Exactly. Yeah. So Joe Biden's going to go down in history as one of the worst in American history. I'll give him that. He'll be first in something, but it won't be on a positive note. It'll be a negative note. Now, if you want to be known for that for eternity, be my guest, because this guy is horrible, and we're all going to pay for it. So, anyway, we'll be right back, and we'll talk about some news that you may or may have not heard. Okay, be right back.
A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.
All right, we're back now, and here's a few news items you may or may have not heard, but we're going to discuss them nonetheless. Biden's going to nominate Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Okay, I said that's who she was going to pick. I figured it was. They had 5 or 6 picked out of it. Now this gal's going to be the one. She checks all the boxes off. She's black, she's a woman, she's lefty, she's Soros backed. Okay, Obama appointed. She was on the District of Columbia appeals court, which I think Biden appointed her to. So yeah, she's the one. Well, I think she'll probably get the job because it's really not going to change the complexion of the court anyway. I mean, if you think you're going to get a conservative in there right now, you're out of your mind. So you might as well take this gal. Yeah. So whatever. It'll be the same old stuff. It'll be Kagan and Sotomayor type stuff. Yeah, is she up for the job? I don't know. I mean, if you're an appeals court judge, you probably have some idea how this works. But she's part of the Black Caucus. I mean, I guess that's what they want. So, whatever. All right. Also, Applebee's. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Applebee's they're advertising on CNN, which I don't know why the hell you'd do that. Okay, so CNN's doing a story on they're actually showing live footage from the Ukrainian invasion. Now, when they did that, I don't know if you've ever seen one of the good examples is NASCAR. They do this all the time. Football does it sometimes, depending on the station. But they'll show split screen, and they'll show the action live going on so that you don't miss any of that. And then they'll do the commercial on the other side. Well, in this particular instance, CNN thought it would be a good idea to have side-by-side footage of the Ukraine invasion with people dying when bombs were going off, and then playing Applebee's ads to the side with their latest version of hot wings and stuff. I tell you. Anyway, they've pulled their ads. Applebee's has. I think they got so much pushback on that they decided it'd probably be a good idea to not do that anymore. I don't know who at CNN thought that was a good idea, but if that gives you any idea of the level of incompetence at CNN as well, I would say that would be right up there with the dumbest things I've ever seen a broadcasting company do. But it was funny. It was funny. I actually saw it last night. It was pretty funny. And speaking of stupid, and we are speaking of that, Psaki, the press secretary, is looking to leave the White House, and she is in the market for a media job. I'm sure a high-profile media job of some kind. So I'm thinking that CNN's probably hiring. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. That would work. She is incompetent. She's not very attractive. She loves circle logic, and she loves to lie. So I'd say she's a shoo-in for CNN or MSNBC. So we'll see where that goes. Okay. She actually has a face for radio, and I mean AM radio. But hey, that's just me. I'm sure she'll do very fine wherever she goes. She's seeing an opportunity, and I don't blame her. I would get out of that immediately if I could. Can you imagine getting up in the morning knowing you're going to have to go out there and lie and make stuff up? I mean, from the get-go, I don't know how you do that with a conscience. I really don't. So maybe she's grown a conscience and has decided it's time to move on. She's no McEnany, I'll say that, because at least McEnany, Kelly McEnany, I believe that was her name, she was attractive. She was well-spoken. Did she distort and, stretch the truth a little bit? Of course they do. Of course they do. But I'll tell you one thing, she'd answer questions, just like Trump would, okay? She didn't dodge questions. Trump would look for a reporter to get into it with on the tarmac, when he's getting ready to leave. He didn't run from people, and he certainly didn't look like a little old man trying to walk across the ice as he walks out. No questions, and then Biden, he shuffles away. Again, I don't want to go back to what I was talking about earlier, but that doesn't exactly instill confidence in America when you see that. Okay, you got to be boastful. You got to be braggadocious. You got to be full of yourself. That's what you got to be. You got to tell me a story, make me believe it. You can't NIMBY. This is so pathetic. Anyway, I don't want to get back into that, but the man is weak. So let's see. Another story I wanted to talk about. Patreon. And I don't know if you know who Patreon is, but they are actually a company out of, I think I got it written down there. Maybe I don't. I may have messed up on that. Anyway, they're out of California, and they take donations. They're kind of like GoFundMe. Anyway, they suspended the page for Ukrainian army donations. Shoot, I think that's funny. And they say that they did it because their terms of service say that they will not be involved with any kind of company that provides weapons or any other kind of tools to an army. They've been doing it since 2014. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay? In 2014, when Putin invaded Crimea and all that, back during the Obama administration, that's when they started this thing. And they're just now figuring out that they buy weapons and body armor and communications. It's ridiculous. Patreon's another one of these assholes. They need to go down just like GoFundMe does. Yeah. The only kind of fund you can have is something that they agree with. It's the same old thing. It's censorship at the core. It's all it is. It's all it is. Let's see. Another story I wanted to tell you about that I thought was hilarious is U.S. Postal Service gives the big FU to the Biden administration on electric vehicles. See, when Biden took office, because of this left-leaning, crazy climate change group, he said, well, we're going to make all the new vehicles in the government force, we're going to make them all electric. Well, probably not, because U.S. Postal Service said, no, we're not going to do that. Nope. You want to know why? Because it costs twice as much. Okay? They got 165,000 vehicles. They're replacing 90% of them. Okay, that's a lot of money. And the one thing the U.S. Postal Service cannot do right now is lose much more money. Okay, because I don't care what you say. You can argue with your friends all you want. It's not a private company. Okay, because it can go on losing billions of dollars a year for eternity if it wants to, because it's got Uncle Sam footing the bill. So don't let anybody kid you. Okay, this is part of the U.S. government. And here's the funny thing. Because they have labor union and they donate to Democratic campaigns, they can get away with giving old Joe the big middle finger. Yeah, they can. Well, they got away with no vaccine mandate. Postal Service doesn't need it, even though they're part of the federal government, right? They're kind of like the White House now. or Congress or whoever. Yeah. We don't need no stinking vaccine mandate. Yeah, exactly. So, gives you an idea where the elite preside. And U.S. Postal Service, I had to laugh about that. They said, nah, I don't believe we're going to do that. We're going to have a big pass on that one, Joe. Sorry about that. Oh, here's one that just made my day. Chris Wallace is having a bad experience at CNN, apparently. Now, remember, he'd been a Fox anchor for 18 years. Okay, he was a liberal, left-leaning. He's certainly not his father. His father, may he rest in peace, Mike Wallace. Great journalist, worked for 60 Minutes for years, did some fantastic investigative work. Believe me, Chris he's not like his dad, okay? Second generation screw up is what he is. He thought it'd be a good idea to leave Fox and go to CNN, all right? He's going to become part of their CNN Plus channel, all right? That's a channel that you have to pay for to watch. Now, no one's watching CNN right now. I think they lost 90% of their viewership. So if you're not watching it for free, why the hell would you pay for it? So apparently he's having daily meltdowns. From what I understand, from what I read, this may or may not be true, but it doesn't surprise me. Chris made a bad career choice there, okay? One of the quotes by somebody they were talking to said, he's threatened to quit 2 times already, and it's only Tuesday. So Chris is having a bad time of it, and I take a little bit of pleasure in that. What do they call it? Schadenfreude, the Germans say. Taking pleasure in someone else's misfortune. I can't help it. Never liked Chris Wallace. Never did. Never thought he was much of a journalist. He wasn't a very good anchor. He's certainly not his father. So anyway, he's having a bad day. It sounds like it's on a regular basis. Okay, the next one here. Now this goes into the file, the can't make it up, you don't have to segment, okay? A professor from New York State University. Her name is Anna Marie Candelas. Yeah. She teaches sociology at this New York State University. Her syllabus says that, and I'm not kidding you, it says it will give priority to non-white folks who wish to speak in class. So if you're white, and apparently from what I read, and if you're male and you want to answer the question in class, we're going to pass on you. We're going to look for a black woman to answer the question. Yeah. So apparently all white men are loud and obnoxious. And I don't know about you, but when I was in college, the last thing I wanted to do was be called on. College, my ass. How about high school and middle school? I don't want to be called on. So this may work out for the white people. I don't know. But that's the kind of logic and that's the kind of world we live in today, that someone could say that and put it in their syllabus. It's one thing to have that as a unwritten rule, one that you can't pin on me later. But she put it in her syllabus. I don't know. Wow. All right. Let's see. This is a story about, we kind of covered this earlier, how Mumbling Joe got absolutely played by China and Russia and Ukraine. And it all goes back to the fact that you went to China to beg them to do something for you. And who was their biggest ally? It's Russia. What did you think they were going to do with that information? What? Right? What did you think they were going to do? They're going to keep it to themselves because we're such friends with them? No, they were going to tell Russia, hey, this guy's completely out of his league, okay? He didn't know what he's doing, and he doesn't know how he's going to handle it. So you can do whatever you want. That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. And I don't blame them. I would have done the same thing. You come to me with information begging me to get my friend to do something that he doesn't want to do, and you're going to tell me, hey, don't tell the guy. What's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to tell the guy. Of course I'm going to. This was stupid. I don't know whose idea this was, but it just goes to show you how incompetent this entire White House is. It's unbelievable. Let's see. Number 9, Zelensky. He's currently the president of Ukraine, at least half of it. He says that he is Russia's number 1 target, but he is not leaving. In other words, he's not going to take off. He's going to what? He's going to go down with a ship? Believe me, he's going to leave. You want to bet? I'll take the high and the low on that one, because I'm telling you, this guy, at the slightest hint that they're in, he's not going to be Hitler. He's not going to commit suicide, supposedly, which that's another story completely. I don't believe a word of that. But the point is he's not going down with a ship. He's not Smith on the Titanic. He's not going to go down with it. No. Guys like this, they don't get to the positions they're in by going down with a ship. No. He's going to skedaddle first sign of adversity. Yeah. For all I know, he's already gone, and he's broadcasting from another place. Who the hell knows? But if he thinks he's not going to go, he's out of his mind. There's no way. Number 10, this is the last one. Networks are parroting the phrase. Now, what they're trying to do right now, the mainstream media is doing their absolute utmost to try and save and make Joe Biden look like he knows what he's doing. All right. They're parroting this phrase. He's on top of the crisis and doing everything he can. I looked through at least 4 or 5 of them today, and they had some version of that. Okay, so they're doing their best. I want you to. I live by a creed. Okay, and you should do this too. If you listen to mainstream media at any level, even if it's rebroadcast, say you're listening to a local radio station, if it's rebroadcast from a mainstream media news source, do not believe it. Do not believe a single word that they say, because it has been given to them, it has been scripted for them, and they're doing nothing but regurgitating what they've been told to say. That's it. CNN, ABC, CBS, ABC, and MSNBC. There's about, I would say there's probably a good 10 of them that you don't want to listen to. And if you do listen to it, disregard it all. You can listen to the weather and the sports. That's it. Because that's pretty hard to lie about. The weather they can get wrong all the time really doesn't affect anybody. The sports, that's all mathematics. So no, at the end of the day, you can believe those two. Anything else is a lie. Don't believe it. All right, that's all I got today. And we will talk again tomorrow. And don't forget, and I stand by this, it's February 25th, 2022. And Joe Biden is the worst president in American history. Let's go, Brandon.
As always, thanks for listening to the Average Joe podcast. Be sure to check out our website at www.averagejoenation.media and follow us on social media. Remember, if you haven't told all your friends, you're wrong.